This powerful movie tells the true story of Mateusz, a man with cerebral palsy who can't speak or move normally. The film starts with him being taken to a medical evaluation in his wheelchair, then goes back in time to show us his incredible life journey. Back in 1987, young Mateusz was just a little boy working with doctors who thought he had mental disabilities. His mother strongly disagreed with this diagnosis. She believed her son understood everything perfectly, even though he couldn't communicate normally. The doctors compared him to a dog that wags its tail when it sees food, suggesting he should be sent to a special institution. But his mother refused to give up on him. At home, his mother tried everything to help him learn to walk, even though his sister and older brother thought it was pointless. Mateusz could only move around by sliding on his back across the floor. His parents even hired a massage therapist, but after several sessions, even this specialist gave up and refused to take payment for his last visit. One day, while his mother was pushing him in his stroller, feeling defeated and frustrated by their inability to communicate, Mateusz desperately tried to tell her something. Through his inner thoughts, we learned that he was just as upset about not being able to talk to his family as they were. His father spent time with him, teaching him simple things like how to bang his fist on the table like a real man. From that moment, Mateusz was determined to learn everything he possibly could. He would crawl to his mother when he wanted to be picked up, and she began working more closely with him, sometimes ignoring his sister's needs. Mateusz spent hours sitting by the window, watching the neighbors in the building across the street. This became his way of learning about social interactions and the world around him. When his family received a package, Mateusz noticed bruises on Anka's legs and later saw her defending her mother from one of her violent boyfriends. He tried to help by throwing a flower from his window at the man. Later, when he saw the same man riding by on a bicycle, he threw dirt at him. The man got angry and started making fun of Mateusz for being disabled. A local policeman who had been friends with Mateusz's late father heard the commotion. The violent man attacked the officer and was arrested. Soon after, Mateusz saw Anka and her mother packing to leave. Anka ran to tell him they were going to live with her grandmother, since her mother's boyfriend was now in jail. As she explained this through the door, Mateusz crawled to the entrance, and they looked at each other through the gap under the door. He desperately tried to say something to her, but only painful groans came out. In 2000, Mateusz's brother came home from the Navy for vacation, and Matilda had found a husband. During their family celebration, they discussed living arrangements and what would happen to Mateusz when their mother died. Matilda made it clear she didn't want the responsibility of caring for a disabled person. Mateusz continued spending time at his window watching life in the courtyard. One day, while his mother was trying to put him in his wheelchair, she fell to the floor. This marked the end of his comfortable life at home. His sister and her husband decided to put him in a special medical boarding house with other disabled patients. Life in the boarding house was difficult for Mateusz. He couldn't get used to it and felt it wasn't the right place for him. When his mother visited after being released from the hospital, she promised to come see him every Monday. But Mateusz gradually realized he had been abandoned and fell into a deep depression. Things got slightly better when a young female volunteer arrived, her. Realizing he was being used as a tool for her revenge, Mateusz became upset and knocked over glasses on the table. Magda had to take him back to the boarding house. Soon after, an orderly told him that Magda had quit her volunteer work. Understanding that he had been used and abandoned again, Mateusz tried to smile while listening to music to keep from crying. The breakthrough. During his mother's next visit, while she was telling him about his siblings' lives, Mateusz started crying uncontrollably. His mother tried to comfort him, but didn't understand the real reason for his distress. In spring 2008, the nursing home organized a theater performance for the patients. Afterward, during a massage session, Mateusz noticed a woman named Mrs. Yola, who taught disabled people to communicate using signs. He tried desperately to get her attention, and eventually she started talking to him. Mrs. Yola developed a communication system based on signs and blinking. Mateusz's progress amazed the medical staff, who had always considered him mentally disabled. She invited his mother and sister to learn this communication method. The first phrase Mateusz communicated was, "I am not a vegetable." After this breakthrough, everything changed for Mateusz. He was brought before a medical commission, got proper dental work to replace his worn-out teeth, and was moved to a private room equipped according to his wishes. He received a motorized wheelchair that he could control independently. In 2010, a journalist named Eva visited to write an article about him. Mateusz also learned to use the internet and computers to communicate with people. His sister brought him home to meet her children and talk to his brother who was on vacation. In the evening, he and his nephew looked at the stars through the window, just like he used to do with his father. When his mother visited again, the stuff